And he said they asked some pretty tough questions. Pastor, according to the faith you push, we're supposed to love our enemies. How do you love these bastards who are beating us up every day? And the pastor said, I didn't know how to answer, except to say you can't keep nurturing hatred. Somehow you have to deal with it. Might take you a year or two. And then he said, as the sun went down, they'd often talk after the service, how they were getting on. But he said there was always a hush as the sun came down. He said, I'd look at that big group on One Tree Hill, and they'd all be looking south down to where Australia was. And he said, I knew they were thinking of home. Little block tucked into the Great Dividing Range, little home in a suburb in Brisbane or Adelaide, have a girlfriend, a couple of kids, and their spirits were burning to get back to their own home, their free country. And then one day the Japanese flag came down and up went the Union Jack. It wasn't the Aussie flag because two Britishers had managed to piece together a Union Jack out of bits of cloth. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether it was the Aussie flag. They did pull the Aussie flag up in a nearby camp. And he said, we were free. Great story. They went through that for Australia. And there's an even more dramatic story about the women who were in a slave labor camp in Sumatra, just up here. It's only just across the sea from Australia. Thousands of women packed in. And the one who put that together was an Australian woman, because they were losing their faith and their hope so fast. And she said, we meet even if it's at midnight after the day's work, and we've got to talk, and we've got to build each other up, and let's sing our national songs. There were so many races they couldn't even converse together, in so many languages. And so each nation used to sing their songs. 10 or 11 o'clock at night after 16 hours of work and being beaten up. And then they ran out of songs, and she put together a human orchestra. She divided the whole of that camp up. She wrote the music from memory, from old scores and oratorios and operas. And one group of women were cellos, and one group of women were violins, and another group were flutes, and another group were clarinets. And one evening, up into this camp went the sound of a human orchestra. And the commandant, who was over 6 foot, which is very unusual for the Japanese people, and was really brutal, came down. He wasn't going to have this. And he came in and he heard what must have been an angelic sound, and he stopped and bowed and backed out. One Australian woman. And after it was finished, after the war was over, they ran a concert in Adelaide. And the remnants of that camp repeated their human orchestra. And the whole of the audience who'd come to hear were in tears as they heard the sounds of literally angels going up. That's our heritage. That's what every kid in Australia should be taught. And most of them have never heard of it. They know instinctively something happened. That's why they go to Gallipoli. But they've never been told the story of how freedom was won in this country. And now a group of bloody money people think they're going to take it away from us. And they bought the politicians. I'm sorry to tell you this, but they have bought the politicians. They just do it with handouts. What's Peter Beattie doing, speaking at a luncheon on the Gold Coast in a couple of weeks? $2,000 a plate. We know it's corruption. They've done it to the Liberals and the Labour and the National. They've bought our politicians. And somehow we've got to get it back. And the only hope we've got are groups like your own, young Australians coming through. You're incredibly important. Each one of you. You might say, I can't do anything. If you can do no more than spend $50 out of your housekeeping budget on Australian-made products, you're making a difference. If we could get every housewife in Australia to do that, we'd knock $20 billion a year off our foreign debt. We'd begin to get this company back. And this movement is sweeping right through. It's got them petrified. They don't know what to do about it. Dick Smith may not have it all right, but I tell you what, he's saying the right message. We've got to get Australia back. Sovereignty belongs to us, to each of us and our kids. And if we can do that, what a great country Australia's going to be. It's a sad country at the moment. But it's going to be a great country. And it's going to be great not because we're powerful and have atomic weapons, but because each of us is fiercely loyal to this idea of freedom. We're a free country, and the title deeds belong to us. We don't want to oppose any other nation, but we do want the title deeds to our own backyard. And if we do that, people will say, God, those Aussies got it right. Best place in the world to go, you know. Their mateship is extraordinary. Their freedom is incredible. Their humor is abundant. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Thank you very much. Good.